Welcome you and all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. We want to appreciate very much the time that you are taking to watch this video today or hear the audio. If you have not subscribed, go and do so today. Another amazing episode because we have an individual recording artist originally for Perryton, first generation Mexican American, has toured with acts such as Currency and has many projects out. He got even interviewed before by Telemundo, correct?
Telemundo.
That's amazing. Tavo the Trill, a.k.a. Octavio, in the house. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you having me. We definitely saw you doing your thing, bro, and we want to be a part of it. We want to be a voice for the Latinos. So thank you for having us.
I appreciate it. Did I get everything on your... I know you have more things, but at minimum intro is good?
Yeah, good, man.
Everything's good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with a segment that I like to call Preguntas al Chile. If you have not subscribed to the channel, to check out the graphics Carlos put together, I don't know what you're waiting for. Also, on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review. It helps us a lot. You're already here. Subscribe. Hit the subscription button. Here we go. You ready?
Let's get it.
Are you sure?
Maybe.
All right. Tacos o tortas?
Tacos.
Tacos. Corn tortilla or flour tortilla?
That one's tough. It depends what it is, but on the cool, I mean, it's hard to go wrong with corn.
With corn?
Yeah.
True story. Okay, so the white corn or the other type of corn? They got the yellowish looking.
Yeah, I think white corn.
White corn?
Yeah.
Gorditas or sopes?
Oh, gorditas. For sure.
Gorditas.
Yeah.
Mexican coca or jarrito?
Coca.
Coca?
Yeah.
Yeah. Agua de horchata, jamaica or tamarindo?
Probably horchata.
Horchata?
Yeah, I'm going to go
Good
with horchata.
choice. Salsa verde, salsa roja. Do you like spice?
Yeah, it's got to be spicy or I don't even want it.
Yeah.
But it depends on the dish, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go with roja.
Salsa roja?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, menudo or pozole?
If it's my sister-in-law, it's menudo. Otherwise, pozole.
She makes some bomb menudo?
Best. She's really the only one I really...
She knows how to make it?
Yeah, like
Really?
I will avoid it if it's not hers. So
Really?
yeah,
Mm,
it's good.
must be really good. Okay, Valentina, Tapatio, Cholula, or Tabasco's hot sauce?
I think Valentina it's universal almost, you know.
I know, right? You can put
Yeah.
that on everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Charrones, palomitas,
Yeah.
name it. It goes in it. Okay, the pastry breads, las conchitas, do you like the brown ones, the white ones, or the pink ones?
Pink ones, man. I don't know what it is. It just may be they're más folclóricas, you know.
Yeah.
Just when I think of them pink.
So they have different flavors, like the chocolate ones.
Yeah.
The brown ones are chocolate flavor,
Yeah.
and then the vanilla is the white ones. And I think probably they have like a hint of some kind of strawberry or something, the pink ones.
Put me on game. I didn't even know that, dog.
I didn't know that either. I had to look it up because we were one of our guests was asking, like, are they all the same?
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Let me find out if that's true. And no, they're not the same. They have a little bit of a change.
You know.
Okay, here's a fun one. A conspiracy theory that you can almost guarantee it has to be true.
Ooh. Probably like the U.S. bringing cocaine into the country to fund the war back in like the 80s. I think that's true.
I can see that being kind of funny.
I know that was kind of crazy, but it's true.
not crazy because it's not, the first one I ever heard about funny business with the CIA and them allowing certain narcotics to come through. So I don't know if they were funding it or not, but what were they doing with it? Or either that or personal use.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you first hear the term Latino or Latina, what comes to mind?
Culture, heritage. Yeah, it's just we have such a rich culture, and I mean all Latinos everywhere. I think that we have so many amazing things to bring to society that get overlooked.
Yeah.
Latinos, especially now in the U.S., have such a huge impact on the way things happen here, and I don't think we get enough credit. So, definitely, when it comes to the word Latino, I mean power. I think power.
Yeah, I feel you on that, definitely. And do you mind if people call you Latino? Do you care? Do you prefer being Latino, or do you prefer being, because you're from Mexican roots, to be more identified as Mexicano, or people call you Mexicano?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super proud Mexicano. I would definitely not against being called Latino because we Latinos Unidos, right?
Right.
But I want them to know I'm Mexican.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so let's get to the interview part. So your parents got here, your dad especially, they migrated a long time ago in 1978, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Do you know a little bit of their story, how your mom and your dad got to the States?
Yeah, so basically, my dad he came in between train carts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came on the train, and he actually ended up going up into like Guyman, Oklahoma. Kind of that's where Perryton's close to.
Mm.
Little did we know we'd end up there eventually, but he was out there working in the matanzas, on the
Slaughterhouse?
slaughterhouses,
Oh.
or like engordas.
So it's like a feeding
like a
for the cattle.
feedlots
For the cattle?
for cattle.
Okay, got you.
And then basically ice pulled up on them there, and they had to dip. And so somehow, one way or another, he ended up back in West Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where he met my mom. So they didn't even know each other
I got you.
in Mexico, but they were both from Chihuahua in the same area, and that's how.
Really?
Yeah, that's how they met.
That is crazy. Do you know how your moms got here?
Yeah, so my mom, when they immigrated here. I don't know exactly how, but they moved to Hobbs, New Mexico. And basically, I grew up in Denver City, Texas before we moved to Perryton, and they met in Hobbs. So my mom was alone. She lived with a few other females. She was the youngest one.
Oh, wow.
And, they were like older women that were, experiencing life, having fun. And my mom was like terrified.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So she
You're the
was
youngest one?
being young, not really knowing, being super innocent.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hobbs, New Mexico is when she or where she settled first, and that's where my parents met.
That's freaking cool. That's crazy, too, that they were from the same area, the Chihuahua, but they never ran into each other over there.
Yeah.
And they have to go to another country to get connected.
And
Ain't
even
that crazy?
even then, my grandparents on my mom's side, they didn't like my dad because my dad is a little bit older than my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And my
About
dad,
a lot or by a little bit?
by a little bit. It's like 6 years.
That's not a lot.
Yeah. But, my dad was already established. He came out here and he was working on the rigs, making money.
Mm-hmm.
Had his truck. He was kind of like a player, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he come pick up my mom, and they, kind of ruffle feathers a little bit, but se la robó, bro. He's like, nah, she's mine now.
So explain to people what robársela means, because I know what robársela means.
Yeah.
But for people that don't understand, what does it mean to you?
Yes.
Did he ever tell you the story?
Yeah, I mean, he told me a little bit, not nothing too crazy, but essentially, my mom's parents weren't fond of him.
They were all here. They were here
They were here now, yeah,
in Hobbs.
in Hobbs.
Uh-huh.
And so basically he would, he'd try to take her on dates, and he was after her and after her. And she kind of was heeding the advice of her parents, like trying not to give him too much attention or spend too much time with him. But essentially, they fell in love. And although my grandparents weren't fond of him or weren't, in agreement, he took her, like she's with me, and we're going to start a family, and this is how it's going to go. So
Yeah. And when did they meant that? Because after a while, it takes a couple of maybe days, months, years to finally, like, you know what? Okay, that's what you want. We're going to go with what you say.
I'm not too sure, but I think it was pretty quick because my parents weren't together long before my brother was born. I got an older brother.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it was pretty quick.
That's crazy because, okay, so back in the days in Mexico, if somebody was seeing each other, they were courting each other, and the man will go and robársela, will be to go steal the girl, and will take her to her parents' house and hide her. Then once that happens, at least the area where I'm from,
Yeah.
then once that happens, the parents of the dad had to go talk to the parents of the mom with their godparents and tell them what happened. And then they get a whole meeting together and have a back and forth of, what do you want? Are you serious about this, or are you just going to play with my daughter? Like, no, I'm serious. Okay. Then they set up a date when they're going to get married, and then they get married.
Yeah, it's
That
crazy.
used to be back in the days, type
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah, but even then, even though it's a little bit crazy, like there's so much respect still. you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it's almost, I don't know. I think that's so wild, but it makes a lot more sense than what people do nowadays, I think, in the sense of like,
get together, have kids, and then get married later, a couple of days. I'm not saying to each their own.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
to each
saying
their own.
some of the things made sense for y'all not to be together until everybody had a conversation. Everybody was in the same page. Y'all get married, and then y'all have kids, and then whatever else. You know what I mean?
Just the family aspect of it's so
Yeah.
big. If you're gonna introduce somebody into your family, like your family should be a part of that, I think. Well,
It's a good. I feel that's pretty. It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to have to be able because it's gonna be part of the family. You don't want her to be around in todas las tías ahí.
yeah, and
Who's
not
this?
everybody's family is the same, right?
Yeah.
But in a family like mine, like, yeah, like we're super close.
Yeah.
Like my family's everything to me. So
Like, who is this intruder? Let me
yeah,
know who they
exactly.
are.
You don't show up, without them knowing already who's coming. So
Yeah. And then you know what? It is a good thing too. I just feel like I'm in the same page as you are as far as like it does. Can then at least I feel like for you, family is super important for
Yeah.
them to be and be able to agree with it. Even though you might be like in love and whatever, but still you want for them to be in the same page as you approve that this person's who you're willing to see or date or whatever the case might be. But you don't want to be bringing every freaking 2-3 weeks.
can't do that.
Chihuahua, what the heck is going on? Otra?
Otra.
You were telling me something earlier about a little story about Chihuahua, because your friends are from Chihuahua. So if you don't know, I think it's almost common knowledge, right? Of the whole entire state of Mexico, everybody knows that the people from Chihuahua have a certain way of talk. Like when they say leche, they don't say leche, they say leche or ocho.
Yeah.
That's just I don't know where I picked it up from. I don't know where it came from. I never took time to look at it
Right.
and look exactly where it originated.
Yep.
But what was the story that you were telling me?
So it's funny because I grew up in a little small town in Perryton,
Yeah.
9,000 people, middle of nowhere. And there's a good amount of people from Chihuahua up there. And, just being around your own family, you don't realize things, right?
Yeah.
But I went to audio engineering school in Austin.
Uh-huh.
I ended up out there and I was working at a restaurant called Jalisco's. And all the people there were like from the F,
Mm-hmm.
down south. And so it was funny because once you get in a work environment with people that you like, you all start joking, having fun, getting to know each other. And they had this thing that every time I would say like, hey, like, pásame una cuchara, they would be like, everyone at the same time would be like, cuchara, or I'd say like, leche pa'l café, and they'd be like, leche, like everyone simultaneously. And I was like,
So you never got it until when did you actually get it?
So that's when I realized, like, I knew it was a thing, but I didn't realize it was such a thing, Like, it was just naturally coming out of my mouth.
Like for you, it's 100% natural. You don't think nothing of it talking and saying it.
Ever.
But everybody else
Yeah.
around you knows that you're from Chihuahua because you talk like that.
Exactly. And I was the only person from Chihuahua there. So,
Uh-huh.
like, it was a thing to, like, to kind of make fun of me about it. So I thought it was all in good fun,
And then you're güerito too, and you got the clear eyes. And the Chihuahuas are people, mujeres and men from Chihuahua are known to be clear skin and colors. So you match the description from a Chihuahuense.
You should see my cousins, bro.
Really?
Yo salí más tostadito. I'm a little bit darker than my cousins, but everybody on my dad's side, we joke, we call them menonitos because they're literally white complected. My dad has blue eyes. My cousins have blue eyes.
Have you ever done a DNA ancestry to know where your roots came from? I believe there was a lot of French, if I'm not mistaken.
My brother kind of got into it for a little bit, but he's kind of also like a little cautious about, government and things like that. And so like he
Have
never
your DNA.
Exactly, shit like that, bro. He's crazy like that. But
he's not crazy too much because they're not a regulation. But I see what he's saying.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we never got very far. We could only get past to like my great grandpa. That's as far as we know.
I've been wanting to, and I like the third time I say it, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and do an ancestry. But a lot of the times, for at least Native people or Latinos, Mexicans too, the database heritage.
Yeah.
They use a lot of that database, and a lot of our people don't go and do that.
Yeah,
so you might not get a full picture of where your people are from.
And I think that's probably what it came down to.
Yeah.
Then it came down to there's really not a whole lot of information out there for us.
And he's not mistaken because there is not a lot of regulation whenever you give him your DNA and who knows what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
There's people that have real concerns about what they're gonna have my DNA. What the hell are they gonna do with it? Like, what if like they clone me or some weird stuff? You know what I mean?
So Gucci Mane, Tavo the Trill, Octavio clone coming.
I'm just saying, there's people out there that feel like those things are real. Cloning was a thing way back in the days, and all of a sudden it just died. They stopped talking about it. I'm not talking conspiracy. I'm just saying it used to be a thing, and all of a sudden now we don't talk about cloning anymore. Like it just went away.
It's kind of like a touchy subject, I feel like.
Yeah.
People think you're crazy if you start telling the truth, you know?
I don't know. I just think it's funny that we used to talk about cloning and they just disappeared.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, using it for something. Yeah, just not telling people. That's pretty cool. So so your parents started working, your dad got into a good position, and then you just started pursuing the American dream. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he was actually within the job that he was doing, he started advancing and getting pretty big, right?
Yeah, my dad's like is an OG in the oil field game. You know, he created a name for himself. He's my hero. And him and my brother, they're just family men that, you know, I know like people say it and maybe there's not a whole lot of sentiment behind it nowadays, but like them oil field guys, bro, I've been out there. Like you're in the elements, like you literally risking. I've been on the rigs and seen accidents happen. One of my really good friends that I was working with lost his fingers, and like it's a real risk every day that you go out there and they put their lives on the line for their families. And I mean, shout out to them, shout out to the oil field. God bless the oil field. And yeah, my dad and my brother, they both really cemented themselves in the oil field game, and just, you know, the work ethic and all the things behind it.
Yeah.
Super blessed to have had that perspective in my life for sure.
Yeah. So is that some of the reasons, besides being a family man, that you see your dad as your superhero along with your brother, the values that they have?
Yeah.
And then the work that they've done that, you know, is freaking hard because you've done it before too?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like at the end of the day, nothing's more important than providing for the family. And no matter whether it's 100 degrees outside or negative 10 degrees outside, they go to work every day and put food on the table for our family, you know? So
yeah, more power to them, bro. I'm not that type of Mexican. Even if I was that type of Mexican to go work in the air, and I'm a Mexican. I was born in Mexico, but that type of work, I know it's not easy jobs. The landscape job, I know it's not easy job. And you're right. Big shout out to them and salute to them to do that type of job. But I feel like our people want us to elevate more to do different things. But damn, I know that they do some hard ass stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's why it was kind of tough for my dad too when I decided to make a different move, because I worked on the rigs until 2015. After I got out of school, I graduated.
Yeah,
I went to audio engineering school, and I went back home and I worked on the rigs for a couple more years, and it crashed in 2015. And this is up in Perryton, and so he established himself in West Texas, and so he still had all his connects out there. So it was easy for him just to pick up the phone and find something really good out in West Texas, out in Denver City. And when he told me, he's like, "Hey, like, let's go out there, you know, and we'll get to it." And I'm just like, I mean, no offense, it's also part of a lot of my family still out in West Texas. It's a big part of who I am, but there really wasn't nothing for me out there no more, you know, as far as music career and wanting to further myself and my dream. It wasn't in West Texas. So when he decided to go do that, I was like, you know, I'm gonna do something else. And I think that was kind of hard for him, because my brother is like, it's crazy. Me and my brother are talking about it. Like, we become more and more like my dad the older we get, you know? And so, I just went, that was kind of a tough pill for him to swallow. But I can remember the first time that he came to one of my big shows. I did a show with Paul Wall. And my dad never really, my dad's very loving. He's even affectionate. And that's like,
that's rare for me.
It's not always a big thing, you know, but he wasn't very vocal. And so I think also he probably didn't want to hurt my feelings maybe about me pursuing music and stuff like that, especially in a genre that maybe he wasn't that fond of, you know. But when he came to my first big show, I did in Garden City, Kansas with Paul Wall, and that we sold it out. and it was an awesome show. I did great. Had a great crowd response. On top of the fact that Garden City, Kansas has a big Mexican Latino uh, community
Yeah.
there as well. So he was kind of like, "Oh, like you're really doing this," and that
That's
was
dope.
kind of like a big moment. So
How do you feel for you that time whenever you seen him and you kind of maybe see his reaction or just him acknowledging that you're really doing this?
yeah, I think it was never really my point to prove to him anything because like I said, he's a provider. He did everything, but for me as a man and as a first generation Mexican American, our family sacrificed so much to get us here, right? And so for me, I feel an immense amount of pressure every day of my life to get from here to here because of the sacrifice that they made. So to see him like really take it in and say like, oh, like he's really doing it,
Yeah.
that meant everything to me. And
Yeah.
everything made all the sacrifices that I made, from making the oil field money to putting myself in a position that wasn't favorable, considering that I had a lot of advantages because of the connections that my family had. It just meant so much, bro.
Yeah. And I can imagine being really, really hard just to tell him that you were not going to go that direction.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's going to be hard on him
Oh yeah,
because he's used to maybe seeing you go that direction and work on the oil field to all of a sudden. Like, where do you get the courage to just let him know, now, Pops, I'm going to go somewhere else? 'Cause I know there had to be some kind of struggle.
oh definitely. But I think the beauty of it is my mom is my rock. She's my everything. She supported me 100%. Had never doubted me. Has always been behind me. And so having her support, even with my dad's little bit of pushback, I mean, so what else can you ask for?
Yeah. And I wasn't saying it like you were going against or trying to prove him. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
just
yeah,
saying that we always want a little bit of a stamp of approval from them to
course.
be like, they don't understand what you're doing,
Yeah.
but seeing that you're doing, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty cool. Okay. So your name, Tavo the Trill, where did that come from? How did the name originated? Have you always gone with that name? Was there any other names before?
That's when I got serious. When I really got serious, I established myself as Tavo the Trill, and the reason being is that I'm a big Texas music guy.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up really big on UGK, Houston music,
Yeah.
and so Trill, is a Houston thing. It's a Bun B and Pimp C, and it just meant so much to me, true and real. That's what I felt that I wanted to embody, and so being from Texas and even though it's more of a Houston thing, I think at the time when I adopted it, if you will, it was a Texas thing,
Yeah.
and then it was really important for me to be and to represent Texas, and so yeah, this came from UGK, growing up on UGK.
And Tavo?
And Tavo, well, my name's Octavio,
Okay.
but I don't. This is kind of funny story. I was an athlete in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and
Whole scholarship and everything for
yeah,
track.
yeah, I ran track in college, but one day a coach or somebody had just called me Tavo, and even though Tavo was more like a Gustavo,
Mhm.
it just stuck and it was easier. And my name got butchered all my life, so
What do you get?
Octavio.
How do you think I feel? Christmas, crispy, all kinds of weird.
Exactly, bro. So you know exactly where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So so Tavo the Trill. I feel like I accomplished a lot with Tavo the Trill, but I also feel like maybe it's a little dated. I feel like the word trill is kind of became oversaturated, and it doesn't have the meaning and the feel that it used to. So
So you're working on rebranding now to your name, Octavio.
yeah.
And that's also not along with the music, but you're also branching into different type of sounds as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the thing. Like being a Mexican and growing up with all the music that we had
Mhm.
around us. So Mexican music's a huge part of my life. I still go to bailes. I still go to concerts.
Yeah.
And I music's just a huge part of my family. We sing together. My brother has a band. My parents used to record music together, and so it's always been a dream of mine to sing like música regional, And so I wanna I want to pursue that, and I already have some things in the works to be able to cross platform or cross genres from making rap music to making Mexican music and everything in between.
So what is the genre that you would be going as far as in Spanish? Is it going to be in Spanish?
Yeah. So definitely there's going to be, I'm going to be making rap music in Spanish. But I really want to do, música regional. It's going to be corridos, stuff like that. So
okay. So your brother has a band?
Yeah, he has a band. It's kind of like a smaller outfit. They do weddings, quinceañeras, pedas, and he does it out of love, just the love of music. And there's a little money here and there, but it's just what he likes to do on his time off, and
like a side hustle type, because they stay busy. I'm sure he does stay busy.
Well, he's a DJ too.
Oh wow!
And so he DJs parties and things like that. But I definitely know that for him it was just the music, being able to create music, and yeah, he was telling me there's nothing else like when your band is playing and you have everybody on the dance floor and they're rocking with you.
I feel you on that.
Beautiful feeling. So
yeah, because I do MCing with a DJ too, and then when we have the floor full, it feels freaking
feel
cool.
good
when they're singing along too, and they do what you want, and they just like shake, forget about everything. They know that they're there to celebrate whatever, whether it be a wedding, a quinceañera, and they're just like having a great time.
They connected to the music, connected to you. It's awesome.
Freaking dope. So the where did you begin to start music? Because I know you started dabbing in high school. Do you remember what was some of the, of course, Houston rappers you said, but was there any other artists particularly that kind of like inspire you a little bit to like, maybe I want to get into doing rapping?
Yeah. So of course I hope I don't catch any backlash off of this, but being from Texas, I grew up huge on SPM.
Yeah.
I grew up huge on SPM. But really, Slim Thug was my favorite rapper growing up.
I introduced him one time at MCing in clubs. I got to introduce. He's a big man.
Yeah, so it's crazy because I always told myself like I'm gonna be he had a like a group, and it was called the Boss Hog Outlaws.
Yeah, Buck.
And I always thought I told myself, I'm gonna be a Boss Hog Outlaw. And to be honest with you though, when it got really serious for me, I was in college. I was running track at a school in Kansas called Fort Hays State. It's a Division II school. And I had started recording. I had already been recording in high school and stuff, but really wasn't putting a whole lot out just for the friends and stuff like that. But I got to Fort Hays, and I had a biology class, and I had just happened to sit next to a guy that ended up becoming one of my best friends, and he was also a music producer.
That's dope.
His name's Goody Beats. And just out of fate, we sat next to each other. We became friends. We found out that we both make music, and so he started making beats for me, and I started actually selling mixtapes on the school at the Union, where all the kids go to eat food or whatever. And so
were you the only one doing that?
Me and him.
Oh yeah,
actually me and him, and then Christian Stevie. He still does most of my graphic design for my covers and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
He's now in New York City. He was working for the NBA Players Association. Like all my friends doing awesome things, bro. And they all helped me. And what's really crazy about it is that's when I decided like I could do this, because I was selling them CDs, and the very first thing I did was I got a Chingo Bling feature.
Oh yeah, you got a Chingo Bling feature.
Yeah, I never put it out.
Still?
Yeah, never put it out, and I still haven't never put it out. It wasn't up to the caliber that I felt like that I would be able to put out and be proud of. And I've done that with a few bigger artists as well.
So you got a few features on the vault, just waiting for the right time.
And even then, I think they're just more for me, for my satisfaction, because like they may not even be artists now that are gonna make any impact as far as my music goes, but for me and what I grew up on and what I like, man, I made a song. Like I actually have a song in the vault right now with Lord Infamous. He's 3-6 Mafia. He's a huge part of my influence in music. I made a song with him but he passed away, and I don't have his blessings to release that, and I don't feel like it's right for me to put it out. Like, I don't even know who to get in contact with now to be able to make that right.
Yeah.
I got a song that I will put out with ESG. He's original SUC Houston, legend, and I will be putting that out.
So, but for you, mostly it's like these people were the ones that I was looking up when I was coming up, and now I got a song with them.
Exactly, and it's not even about what anybody else hears or thinks. I got to work with the artist that I looked up to. You know. And
so Chingo Bling was somebody that you wanted to at that time. Whenever you got enough funds and got that.
Yeah, man, Chingo was popping at the time. I can't say that I agree with a whole lot with
the things that he got going on right now, Chingo, but
it's still love.
It's still love, and then it's very strange to when you came to Port us all, and then you go a little wild. Get off Fox News.
Hey, bro, I won't say too much more about that, but I know for a fact that at that time, Chingo was embodying what a Mexican was, and bringing it to light on a huge scale, right? Like when Houston was popping, he was doing it, and I got to work with him, and he actually, even though I don't see eye to eye with him now, which he probably doesn't care, it doesn't even matter, but he made a big impact in my life, and I'm thankful for that, because he made me believe in myself that I was running track in college and recording out of a dorm room on a USB mic, and I got a Chingo Bling feature. Like that made me believe.
Hell yeah, that's true. I'm not going to get too much into it either, but it's freaking weird that you're the guy that all of us are at one time are singing his song. And then again, to each their own, however you want to, but it is real contradicting to who the guy you're supporting that doesn't want your people here.
There's a way to move and the way to express that, and I don't think he's maybe doing it the right way.
Yeah, I think he has a podcast now too.
Really?
So I don't know. Oh. But more luck to him, bro. I mean, again, it's his world, and but you got a feature with him, so that's pretty dope. So if you decide to put it out,
probably
that'll be dope. None of us. But okay, so after you got that Chingo Bling, you knew you could make it. You had a very small setup, simple setup, but you still were able to get that feature. Made you believe, and you started like working more. And then finally, you graduated from sound school, and then you started build your own studio.
Yeah, so that was another struggle too with my dad. Is I was on a full ride scholarship. I wouldn't have gone to college if it wasn't for just being blessed enough to go out there and run, and the school believing in me as well. And
so you fast.
I was fast, bro.
You were fast.
I was fast. I was good enough to like.
Hello, you and all. Thank you very much for checking out this episode. Make sure you go and subscribe. Hit the like button. Leave us a comment. We appreciate it. Now, back to the episode.
Get invited to the huge track meets like KU relays, and I would even be able to get into the finals. But once I got into the finals, it was nothing but Division I guys that were like 6 something and like just truly gifted. I was a hard worker. I got there just off of hard work and put those huevos, bro.
It's true, because they take 1 step, you have to take 3 steps.
Facts, bro.
That's how they are.
It's crazy. It's like, the University of Southern Florida, Oklahoma University, and it's like Fort Hays State University.
I feel you.
Yeah, bro. So I mean, it's so I ran for 2 years. I got my associates, and I told my dad, like, I actually ran and hit a national qualifying time to go to nationals. But
what were you running?
I was running the 400 and the 800.
And what was the time?
So my fastest time on the 800 was 154. So I was able to hit a national qualifying time, but the list of people that hit national qualifying times was more than me being able to get in. So I was like, man, like, how much more can I put my body? Because I was 135 pounds. I was skinny.
You felt like you were walking on air, right?
Bro, it was, and even people would tell me when I come home, they're like, damn, like, they feeding you up there, but it was because, I was getting after it, and they even made me run cross country in college, and it's not something that I ever did. So it was just a lot. And when I was competing and working out and training at the highest level that I'd been in, and I still wasn't being able to get to that big stage. So
Yeah.
and then I was like, man, I got to do something else. And because of the music and stuff like that, that's when I decided that I was going to leave Fort Hays and I was going to move to Austin,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going to get into audio engineering, because in Perryton, the closest studio is in Amarillo. You know, that's 2 hours away.
Jesus, that's a lot. That's far away.
2 hours away for a kid that's in college, you know, it's not feasible.
It's not doable at all.
And on top of the fact that once I get there, they're not really the type of studio that's for me. So it's just a waste, you know. So I decided I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna learn how to record myself. I'm gonna learn how to handle this situation on my own so that I can progress myself.
That's dope.
And so after I graduated audio school, I moved back home, and my, you know, going to audio school was a pretty big deal for my family, because I went from having a full ride to, you know, having to pay for school. My dad was like, hey, you want to do that? Pues lo vas a hacer solo, you know, like you're gonna go do that shit on your own. And no, they did support me and they helped me. I definitely am super thankful. But you know, era una chinga, bro. You know, at the end of the day, I had some moral support. I had, you know, my mom's love and you know, the rah behind it. But you know, I struggled a lot when I went to audio school, because I was on my own in a city where I didn't know anybody, and I've done that a couple times, right?
Yeah. Were you into the music scene over there? Because Austin's music scene is it's doing their thing.
Yeah. So the way that ended up happening actually is one of my really good friends. His name is Brian Boucher.
Mm-hmm.
He went to audio engineering school too, and we went to the school that they place you in a like a, what's the word, an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So instead of like sitting in the classroom learning from a professor that probably isn't even involved in the industry at all,
Just knows how to read the book.
Read the
Doesn't know how to
book.
do it.
Yeah, they pair you with the professional that actually does that for a living.
That's dope.
So I was in the studio with Andy Sharp, who he used to record the Freestyle Kings. He was also doing like a dialogue for like Star Wars things.
Wow.
And so it was, I got to experience true professional studio, like a guy that makes a living doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's you know, it's a whole lot different than just sitting in the classroom.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So did you feel like that was the best way for you to learn, instead of just being in a classroom, as far as experiencing that and really seeing how it really is done, instead of just thinking about it, reading the book?
Yeah, of course. And I think the other thing about it is, like you said, you know, Austin at the time, for sure, I know for sure, was the music capital of the world. So, or not of maybe of the world, but of the U.S.
At least in Texas.
Yeah. And so we were recording everything from business jingles to reggae music to metal music to you know, Tejano music. So I was able to really hands-on learn the process of how to make this music happen.
Wow.
And so even now, I think it's I have such an appreciation for all different kinds of genres of music, because I know what it takes to make it happen.
Yeah.
So I think it's a big part of why my sound is changing, and I can draw inspiration from a whole lot of different places than just maybe what a typical rap song is or something, you know.
Yeah. But as far as getting into the scene itself and performing and things like that, were you ever involved in any of those things?
Yeah, a little bit, but I was still not in a position necessarily to really elevate myself. But you know, it's I did the whole South by Southwest while I was out there.
Nice.
and made connections, and that's actually how I ended up. One of the main reasons why I ended up in Fort Worth. I met a guy. His name's Brick. He was a tour manager for Currency and Wiz Khalifa, and I had met him while I was out in Austin.
Gotcha.
And so when I saw an opportunity to come to the DFW, that was the first thing I thought, like, hey, I already got connections out here to an extent, you know, and there's just more opportunity out here. So I would say that definitely my involvement in Austin led me to Fort Worth, or to the DFW in general.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you graduated with sound engineer, you got your degree.
Yeah.
And then that opportunity started happening, and then you moved over here.
Yeah.
To Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started working with a producer named 357. We started kind of just making music online, you know, sending stuff back and forth. And He's a very very talented. I personally I might be a little biased, but I think he's the best sound engineer in Fort Worth right now.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we built chemistry over the years. So when I was able to make the move to Fort Worth, I would literally say it's probably 90% because of the relationship I had with him already. I felt like I could accomplish what I wanted to with him on my team, and super grateful for him. Shout out to 357. If you are an up and coming artist or even an established artist and you need a good recording studio, you need somebody that's going to work with you. 357 is amazing. He's got a great studio and he's easy to work with.
How did you ended up linking up? Where did you find him? He found you?
I actually found him through GT Garza. He's another Houston artist.
I had him here on the
Oh,
podcast.
perfect, man. Well, there you go. GT, I had been a big fan of his and had been listening to him for years, and I actually had heard, or I can't remember if it was on the back in the days on the CDs.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had artwork and they had like
Contact
credits,
information.
and stuff like that. And I saw 357, and so I actually ended up finding him because of GT Garza's music, and so then the rest is history.
So it sparked curiosity to see, who is this guy? Let me
Yeah.
find him. And then he's like,
Yep, that's how it happened.
So you reached out to him and say, hey, I'm up and coming artist. I'm looking to, looking for some sound, because you already know how to do that too yourself, but you need somebody else's perspective. So you hit him up.
Yeah, I got a feature from Project Pat.
Mm-hmm.
Also a huge influence of mine.
3-6.
Yeah, 3-6, man. Huge influence of mine.
Some sizzle.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of
that song.
Yeah.
I remember jamming those songs back when I was in school. All that.
So I think that was a pivotal moment for me because I could say, hey, I'm a guy that has a song with Project Pat.
Yeah.
And so at that point, reaching out to 357, he maybe saw, maybe a more credibility than just any old person hitting him up. So yeah, I reached out to him, and we just started collaborating more and more and more, and eventually now that's the only place I record.
Yeah.
He's probably, I work with 3 producers really, and I would love to expand, but 357, Goody Beats, the guy that I very first started making music with, and then there's another guy in Fort Worth that goes by Faustepco. And they're all super talented people, and super glad to have them, have their support and collaborating with them.
But if you already know how to record and when to sound engineer and everything, why do you feel like you need to go to them to do something that you maybe be able to do yourself?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because my passion has always been lyricism. It's always been, the words, the creation of building a song. It's like a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
I only did the engineering because I had to. And now that I'm around other people that are even better than I am, it's their primary focus. I can really focus on what I love, and that's the lyrics.
So you just wanted to learn so you won't be like not knowing what the heck is going on. But it wasn't your passion. Your passion is to actually write and the song structure. Their passion is to do the production, post-production, and all that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So, when you're in a 9,000 people town, and you're trying to make good music, quality separates you from being amateur, or, maybe mediocre, and being a good artist. And so I just wanted to separate myself from the rest, at least where I was at, and audio engineering was going to do that for me.
Yeah. So what was your very first project that you dropped? Like whether it was a single or a whole project?
My first actual project that I was able to like get out and put out was a mixtape called Dirty Money Volume 1. And that's
the record label, your record label?
Yeah, so it's my brand, Dirty Money.
Oil Rig.
That's where it started. That's where it stemmed from. Mm-hmm. But it was really just about being willing to get dirty for what you want. Mm-hmm. Get down and dirty. Doesn't matter if you're flipping burgers. Doesn't matter if you're doing construction. Like, you got to do what you got to do. And even if it's not getting dirty, I mean, you got to roll your sleeves up to get shit done. You know, that's what Dirty Money is about.
I got you. And then you released the first project with that Dirty Money Volume 1. And it consists of one song or mini songs?
It has a few songs. That's a project that I was able to get GT Gars on because of 357. And also I had the Project Pat feature on there. So,
also?
Yeah.
So you started off strong.
Came out the gates. First one. Came out the gates. So that was the whole concept, you know. And honestly, that's what I feel like I'm trying to do now with the rebrand. Like everything that I've learned and that I was able to accomplish with Tavo the Trill, now, you know, being Octavio, and really just embodying myself. I don't want to be seen as a persona. Like this is me. This is who I really am. And bringing my name into it, you know, I'm not hiding behind a alias. Like this is who I am.
I like that. So you're gonna abandon pretty much what is the hip hop rap and focus more regional now from going forward?
No,
or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. I think I'm just more focused on being a complete artist. I don't want to be a rapper. I don't want to be just a Mexican artist. I just want to be an artist. Okay. And not only just that, with I see clothing as art. I see all the other things that Dirty Money is doing, I see as art. Events, all those things. I just want to, I don't want to be put in a box.
I got you. Okay, so tell me about that. Let me ask this first, and then I'll ask that again, or touch up on that. So what is your process whenever you're getting ready to create a song? How often do you go to the studio? Do you write something down? Do you pick a beat? Do you go to your producer first and then just listen to it and then start writing to it? What is your process for you?
So personally, my process, I think this is important too, because I think there's true talent to people that can write music without having a beat. Personally, I need to have a beat. I need to have inspiration. I need to see where the song's going, and I build a song based off of how the beat makes me feel. That's, I think, the easy way maybe, but 357 has been really challenging me. He's really been pushing me to new levels, making me make stuff on the spot, come up with concepts beforehand.
And then build around that.
Build around it, yeah. So, I mean, I think really it just depends on what space I'm in as far as where I'm at as far as the inspiration of a song goes. But, you know, if I have a concept, then we build on it. But if not, then I need the music to inspire me. So
I got you. Okay, my other question was this. There was an interview you did with Telemundo, and that was one of your bigger moments. Yeah, you told me the story behind connections and things like that, and crazy how small the world is, and you got to be featured on Telemundo. Yeah. 2-part episodes, and y'all can check it out. He's on the link tree. But one of those parts, and also part of, I believe it's one of the articles I read, is that you were a Mexicano. You were not maybe too much in touch. You knew you were Mexicano, but you wanted just to be a rapper and not be labeled as like you said earlier, a Mexican rapper or, you know, a Latino rapper or anything. You just want to be like an artist, like known for doing music, not because of that. And then during that time, you also kind of sort of realize that your people, your roots and everything are magnificent, right? Yeah, they're freaking amazing, and you shouldn't shy away from those things. What exactly happened at that time that made you realize, first, not to be put in the box, and second, how much more you can embrace your culture and put it into the music?
Yeah, I think because I was so focused on wanting to be a rapper, you know, that and I guess it also had to come with the times. You know, you had like the SPMs, you had like the Juan Gottis. I didn't want to be, you know, and those guys are like, you know, they're the guys that kick the door in for us, right? But I just wanted to be able to express myself and not, you know, maybe not somebody else on the outside see me and just say, oh, he's a Mexican rapper. I wanted that respect as an artist, right? But when the Telemundo thing happened, it's because I had made a song called Plata o Plomo, and it was and I had been making, you know, Spanish songs and stuff like that in the past, but that one really got traction, and I kind of sat back and, you know, I got on Telemundo, and I just started to think to myself, like, man, I had been taking this this blessing. I was just lucky and lucky enough to be born a Mexican, that I have a whole demographic that I wouldn't have otherwise, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think on top of the fact that the success that I had with it, it's just such a huge part of who I am, and maybe not always in my music, but it always is a part of who I am. You know, I walk around with a freaking Mexican flag on my back. You know, and I'm super proud of being a Texan. But there's nothing like being Mexicano, man. I don't know how else to express that besides, you know, the pride that we have and all the beautiful things that our culture has.
What was the saying que dijiste en la interview? Que la suerte de que naciste mexicano.
Yeah, pura suerte, bro. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have the opportunity maybe even to be on your podcast, bro. So thank you.
Yeah. No, si fueras güerito, you're not gonna be. I'm just kidding. I'm not exclusive to anybody. I have my African American brothers here. Chingonas only. She's black. And then, of course, I'm not against any güerito coming over to tell their stories. If if they're Latino culture or Mexican culture, they grew up with a nana that was Mexican. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to showcase people like you, people of us doing things and seeing what we do. You know, because again, you're right. We come from beautiful things, beautiful history that you mentioned also on the interview that you're not on the song that you're not gonna find on the books. They're not gonna put on some of the books that chiles came from Mexico, and then the world like enjoys the chocolate came from Mexico, and the whole world gets to enjoy it. And they're not gonna see that if we don't tell them or remind them that that's where it came from. You know?
Yeah, we're gonna put it in their faces here, bro.
On their faces. That's not only you, but it's been a bunch of people that's been like, that's the thing, that's the fight right now. No, we're done. We've been nice. We've done show you what we did. Yeah, I just don't want to give us the credit that we have done whatever. Now, you know what? That's fine. Do what y'all do, but we're going to do what we do. And we have the capability, we have the imagination, we have the troubleshooting and the skills to be able to surpass that and keep moving it forward. Instead of like, give us something, like, no, we're just going to take what's ours.
Yeah, we put in the work. Now it's time to get the credit for it.
Yeah.
I think right now, especially in the hip-hop space, and maybe not even just hip-hop, in general, in the music space, guys like Peso Pluma are taking guys like Bad Bunny off the top chart, you know? I think right now is just a beautiful time for Mexicans in general in the music industry, where we're here and we're not just here anymore, but we're here to stay. And I definitely want to take advantage of where music is at, especially for Mexicans right now.
Yeah. So that's true. We're gonna go get it. That's dope that you're transitioning and you're not, you're going to be Octavio. And again, not a persona, but the person who you are, and be able to, get more art in different areas, not only hip hop, but whatever else you decide to. Yeah. But you do have a new song that you just started to push that's coming out soon. Tell me about that song. How did that come to be? Remind me the name.
I got a song coming out on April 20th called Two-Seater.
Two-Seater.
It's gonna be my first release as Octavio. It's produced by 357. I have a videographer that goes by Grindstein. That he's gonna be we're working on the video right now. And it's kind of just I want to say I'm taking on a more industry ready sound. I want to be. I don't want to just make Texas music anymore. I want to expand my sound. I think this song really is gonna do that for me.
What kind of sounds are we expecting to have, and when would the video be ready?
The song is gonna drop on April 20th, and then I hope that within the previous month we're gonna roll out the video as well.
Okay. So if we get that before the episode comes out, we're more than happy to clip. We're definitely gonna clip a little bit of the sound of the song, and of course the video, if it's available, we'll put it in there. So the sound itself, what would you say it would be? What kind of sound are we expecting to hear? You said not Texas, but what would you kind of sort of align it with? Atlanta, or just something different that you created?
It's definitely on some trap sounds. It's definitely more trapped out. But in general, we're definitely gonna add more Latin influence into all my music right now. I don't want to say like it's just more melodic. There's more musical elements to it than just rapping. And so I'm excited about that.
So anybody that listening to the song for the first time, what can they hear to be like, oh, there's the Mexicano influence a little bit?
I think so. Yeah, they're gonna hear it, and they're not gonna realize right away that I'm a Mexicano. But then it's just gonna hit you, and you're like, oh shit, like, you know, he sounds a certain type of way, but you know, he's still expressing, you know, that he's a Latino, that he's a Mexican, and doing it in a way that I don't think there's very many people that can do it the way that I'm doing it.
Are you talking about switching the language or?
Definitely, I think all of it, from the sounds that are coming, and the music itself, the beats, some of the we're pulling samples from like old school, like Colombian cumbias, like we're just really wanting to target and focus on the Latin culture, because I think it's such a huge opportunity that I'd missed out on in the past. And also it's funner that way too. Like it's just so much more fun to make music that means more to you because it's coming from where you're coming from. That makes sense.
Touching back a little bit on the previous conversation that we had, was there a particular event that happened to you that said, like, I really need to embrace my culture more? Was there somebody that you heard that maybe got into you saying, you know, we do come from amazing people, like, why should I be? Because you said earlier you missed on those opportunities, but was there a particular conversation, particular event, particular thought that made you want to think, like, you know what, damn, it sucks that I haven't been embracing this so much that I should have?
Yeah, I think it was the Telemundo stuff.
Yeah. Just that event itself.
That event made me realize that, like, I'd been making music already for years, and I never had an opportunity come around like that until I started expressing, you know, being a Mexicano. So that was huge.
Yeah, the video Plata Plomo, there was a lot of Mexican, the jersey and different things like that. They're switching it in Spanish and then in English.
Selena mural, shout out to Juan Velasquez.
Yeah,
he's an amazing Mexican artist from Fort Worth that's been putting on for the DFW. Yeah, he was nice enough to let me use his mural and even do a cameo for the video.
Was he the one in the bar?
He was the one that was with me next to the car and the Selena mural.
I got
It's a very short clip.
Yeah.
But you need to check him out if you don't know him already. He is just, I mean, this guy is going on interviews with every major. He
needs to be here.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him, bro. I'm gonna link y'all, bro. He's amazing, and it's funny because I see him out and about, and people don't even realize, like, they're standing next to greatness around him, bro. Like, 'cause he's so humble and he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't portray himself like anything other than a humble person, and I super respect him for that, because he came down. I'm gonna say this, Juan, you came down to my level to help support me, and I'm always gonna be an advocate for him because he's just absolutely incredible.
That's dope. That's badass. That's awesome. Yeah, if you can tap me in, I'd be more than happy to talk to him. It'll be amazing. That's so what other project are you working with Octavio, the name, as far as the Música Regional? Is there something in the pipeline that you're getting ready to release here soon? Have you already done it? Are you planning how you're going to release it?
No, I'll be honest with you. I have probably like 20 songs locked and loaded that are more so on the hip hop side. I'm still working on getting putting the pieces together for the regional music to be exactly what I want. I have some friends from Fort Worth that I'm hoping to collaborate with. We've talked about it. There's a banda out there that's called Vuelo Privado. And the homie, he's we've talked about collaborating, because I think for me, when I get into that space, I want to get into that space with somebody that's already reputable. That way, because if I do it myself, great, right? But I want to be able to expand on a bigger, like maybe, having their fan base see who I am is going to give me more credibility than just coming out by myself.
Not to mention introducing to your sound, your bass, your fan base to them too, because
Exactly.
you have your own people.
Yeah, it's a great collaboration, you know, and they're signed to Diferente Music. I don't know if you've heard of Porte Diferente, but they're part of the same label, and I think even Porte now is signed to Rancho Humilde, which is, you know, probably like the biggest label for regional music in the U.S.
Yeah, they are. They're huge. Yeah, they are definitely big. So your sound, you're thinking more of mixing a little bit of like como el Niño de Oro type of sound, rapping it still, but with a nice, not regional sound, nice corrido sound type.
Yeah, I think you know, I'm like super old school when it comes to.
So you want to sing it?
Yeah, I'm gonna sing, bro.
Cool.
I'm gonna sing.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
But you know, I think there's so much that we can do. I think especially now in the space that regional music is in right now, especially with these new young guys coming up, they're creating new sounds, and I think that I could definitely take advantage of where that is and the type of music that I make right now. So
yeah, that'll be dope. Can't wait for you to start releasing some of those, and hear the sounds, or how's it gonna come out, or singing.
Yeah,
and I mean, you definitely got the writing skills, because you say your parents were used to compose music.
Yeah.
Did they compose for bigger artists, or they just compose for themselves, or how did that go?
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, there's a band that got really, really big that was from Booker, Texas, which is like, you know, maybe like 15 minutes down the road from Perryton. They're called Innovación. And anyways, my mom had ended up writing a song, and I won't get too much into it. She maybe didn't get the credit that she should have.
Oh, I got you. One of them businesses.
But, you know,
she knows it's her song.
My mom did that shit, you know, so that's...
Give people their credit. What's wrong with y'all? Yeah, that's dope, though.
Nah, I mean, I just think that it was an amazing opportunity for her, and just because my mom, she sacrificed everything to be a stay-at-home mother to make sure that we were taken care of.
Yeah.
And so I think for her, you know, maybe in the background of things, she maybe feels like she hasn't been able to express herself or to chase her dreams because she sacrificed all of it for us, you know. So I think that was a really special moment for her.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope that she was able to do that, and she was able to live that, even though she might have not been credited accordingly, but at least she knows she has the capability to do that, you know? And
yeah, y'all don't fucking sue me for saying that.
Oh, they're like that?
I don't know. I don't even know if they're in the game like that anymore.
But give people this credit. I mean, come on. That's what I'm saying. I know you're a big supporter of supporting each other.
Yeah.
With the right intentions, you know, like supporting as much as you can. But knowing when to support, and then the support that you receive back, not just one way, just because you feel like whoever it is just like, oh yeah, I'm just giving you all this support, but you're not giving anything back. You know what I mean?
At the same time, too, at least in that situation, I don't put a whole lot of blame on Univision, or I even put any Univision, Innovación, because they were signed to a big record label, you know. So there's probably things that they had nothing to do with that made that happen that way, you know.
Well, hoping every presentación they're shouting out your moms.
No shit, huh?
Like, can't put her on the record and give her credit, right? Because maybe she don't have everything registered, but hey, shout out to la señora. You know what I mean?
So, but that's kind of funny talking about that, because we were just talking about that before, about getting yourself right as an artist to be able to not get exploited. You know, you gotta have your shit right.
Tell them how important it is too. We're getting close on time, but please give us some nuggets as far as that. How important is it for you to get your stuff right? So, like, I know your mom was doing that out of a passion and hoping that she has the ability to and do it out, do the song. But however, she maybe didn't know how to register everything. Why do you think it's so important for you to do it right? Because I know you went a little bit of a time coming up on your music that you didn't do it correctly. And you were just putting stuff out thinking you were kind of doing something. But if you had it right, you might have been still, you know, getting some money from the music you put out before.
Absolutely. I think like, man, even like recently, I think a couple years ago, I put out a song with Bo Bundy, who's a huge artist now. Yeah. I mean, he's also signed to Rancho Humilde. I think he's the first rapper to sign to them. He's blown up, you know, and I'm getting some monetization off of that, but I didn't have my publishing right. I had that song with Project Pat. I had songs with GT Garza that I had my publishing right. So like I feel like, I mean, although I'm getting some royalties off of it, not having the publishing kept me from being able to get that on bigger platforms.
What was the agreement for those songs, if you don't mind me asking? Was there a particular split? Did you pay them for the feature and then saying that it's yours, that you pay for it and that's it? So you would have been, even though it was their song or whatever, it would have been 100% for you.
Correct.
And then they wouldn't have got any of those royalties because you had already paid
exactly
for that.
Yeah, that's basically the way that I like to do things. Like, don't get me wrong, I have friends that I collaborate with that we split songs. Like I got on my new project coming up, I got features from Eric Evans, I got features from Dank 817, I got features from a few other artists, but you know, we do splits on those. But when I was working with these bigger artists, you know, as far as the business side of things, you know, I'm gonna pay you for your services, and then I'm gonna put it out, and then I'm gonna get the residual effects from it. So
because I already pay you for that, you're not getting that. Even though I understand that part, you can claim it on your publishing part. But for me, I pay you for this.
Yeah, your part of it has already been taken care of. So the rest of the work that I put into it is gonna be for me.
Yeah. So see, that's why it's so important to get it right. And again, it sucks that it happened to you, Mom, but that is a lesson to learn for an up-and-coming artist. Make sure everything's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everything's on YouTube to know exactly what is it, what do you have to have to make sure that you get the most out of it.
Yeah.
Because you could have gotten some of those and they slipped. And it might have been a couple hundred, but a couple hundred is a couple hundred if you're just coming up.
Yeah, definitely that. I think the biggest thing for me too in my entire career has been capital has been the only thing that has held me back.
Yeah.
So
it costs money.
Money
to make music, to do the artwork. It's great that you have a team. They're willing to help you out and keep pushing, but videos cost money. Everything else, even putting up a song, costs some money.
It ain't cheap to make music, man.
It's not. It is not. And it's cool to have a great heart to do so, but just if you're not able to, I said it many times over, if you don't have the funds immediately, at least be creative enough to be able to come up with some way to be able to get those few projects out correctly, and then minimum have them done correctly so you get the most out of the money that you have invested into whatever project you're doing. Because don't get me wrong, it feels great to put out a song and have it played on the radio.
Yeah.
But are those spins getting registered for you to get a little bit of something, you know? Take those little steps that it's all on YouTube that you can look into to make sure that you get yours.
Yeah, definitely. I think as any new up and coming artists out there that are really interested, get your publishing right. Do like you said, look it up on YouTube, figure out how to get right, because all it does is take one song. You can have that one song that really takes off, and if you don't have it right, somebody else is going to exploit you for it. You know, they're going to take advantage of that situation, and you're going to end up on the shit end of the stick because of it. So
it sucks because you're going to be the one saying, "Oh, that was my song." Well,
yeah, not
on paper. It's not. What are you talking about? It's like your song, somebody else's song. That sucks. So what motivates you as far as still keeping you going to do this? Because we talked about how it takes money, and it's a lot of times you don't get the recognition of the things that you are. But you just got to keep pushing through because you know that's eventually going to happen if you keep consistent with it. What keeps you motivated?
I think it goes back to the sacrifices my parents made. You know, they left their country, they left everything behind to get us here. That's what keeps me going every single day to get from here to here. It's a immense amount of pressure, but it's pressure that forms diamonds, right? I know that's a little cliche, but I mean it. There's not anything more important to me than you know, making sure that the sacrifice that my family made was worth it to give us the American dream, to give us exactly you know, everything that we've dreamed for.
Yeah,
so.
I like the way that you put it, because it's true. Because every generation that comes here, like for example, I was born in Mexico, but my parents got here, and I got here early too. But I seen all that too.
Yeah.
Even though I was born in Mexico, I seen them go through that stuff too. And it helps me. Like, they did so much for me that I just need to keep elevating more, you know. And I know they might not just understand it or whatever, but for me to honor them, I need to keep pushing even higher.
and that's a perfect word, to honor them, to
Yeah.
honor their sacrifice
Yeah.
by creating a beautiful life, to get all my dreams and aspirations because of their sacrifice.
Yeah.
And then it goes down even to my nephews. I have 3 nephews. I don't have any kids of my own. I have an older brother. He has 3 kids, and they're in Perryton, small town. You know, when you grow up in a small town, you kind of have the blinders on. You don't realize how much the world has to offer. And
There's a whole freaking world out there.
it's a whole world out there, and I want them to know that it doesn't matter how big your dream is. It doesn't matter if you want something and you work hard enough towards it, you can make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. We're running short on time, and I got a couple more questions, and I'll let you go. First of all your social media. Where can they find you at? Where can they follow you? Where can they get a hold of your music?
All my stuff is still at Tavo the Trill, TavoThaTrill. I'm having a really hard time with rebranding on that kind of stuff because we already have a decent audience that I don't want to lose or have to rebuild. But as of now, everything's at Tavo the Trill.
That's dope. Okay, and then the projects you have, once again, remind me.
So right now, my most recent project is called Bienvenido a Texas. That's out on all streaming platforms. And then my new single coming out on April 20th is 2-seater, produced by 357.
Okay, this episode probably going to premiere after. However, if we get the video, if you've already completed it, then we'll put a little bit on it. But minimum the sound, we'll clip the sound in for it. And okay, shout outs. Any shout outs that you have? Any people that you want to shout out?
Man, shout out to you, bro. I really, really appreciate you taking the time. I know time is valuable, and it means a lot to me for you to have me here. I want to give a shout out to Gianna and Wavy Digital for making this happen as well. She's been helping me out a lot. So if you need any type of marketing, she's amazing.
Very professional, by the way. Let me throw it in there.
I'll tell you right now, man. I think it means it's very important to have representation because if you're trying to do all these things at once, it's difficult, you know. So you needed somebody in marketing like Wavy Digital.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other shout outs? Saludos. You can do it in español también.
Yeah. Shout out to 357. 357 has been really the catalyst to all of this for me. He's a guy that I really, really enjoy working with. He's super talented. He's Mexicano too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's a Mexican producer, and I think that's one of the reasons why me and him have such good chemistry. And really, man, shout out to everybody that's been supporting me from the beginning. I know that I have a really, really strong support from a core base, and I know that they're gonna help catapult me to the next level, and I just appreciate them all being here since the jump.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so tell me an important lesson that you learned when you were younger, coming up in the music industry, that you would tell your older self now that will help somebody else.
Don't bullshit. Don't play. If you mean to really do this, do it the right way. Do it seriously. Be professional. Don't bite off more than you can chew. I know that there was opportunities that I had that I made songs with artists when I wasn't ready, and I don't take those for granted because I learned from them. But come correct, come serious. This is a business, and at the end of the day, if you think it's just for fun, then this isn't the business for you because it's a monster. It's a monster that'll eat you alive.
Yeah, it is fun to do the music and get creative, but when you get to the business part, you have to be.
You got to come right.
You got to come correctly.
Yeah,
absolutely. This was one of those serious questions, and then I like it. And I think it's more of a reflection type, especially for me too. Also, when I'm talking to you, and the artist. So usually when I wake up, I have a saying that I say, "I'm not immortal. I am mortal, and I will die one day." And that's just not to scare me that I'm gonna go now, but makes me realize that I need to hurry up and do things because I'm not here forever, right?
Yeah.
With that, after everything, I wish you a long, prosperous life. However, at the end of your life, what do you hope people to think about your life?
Hope I inspire people to chase their dreams. That's always been my biggest thing, is coming from a small town with little opportunity. When people see me, I hope they think, man, that guy, he chased his dream, and no matter what wasn't the obstacles that he had to go through, he kept going, and he kept going, and he kept going. Because I think it's most people give up right before their breakthrough. You know,
Yep.
most people it's the people that are consistent and keep going and keep going and keep going that make it. And I'm not gonna stop till I
It
do.
makes me think of that meme of the guy digging for diamonds.
Yeah.
And right before, one more time before he gets to the diamond, he walks away. And the other one just keeps going until he gets.
That's how it goes, at least in my opinion.
It's true.
You know,
Because you feel like, I don't know if it's a test in life that see if you're ready for it. It throws all kinds of stuff at you and you're like throw in the towel, like, nah, forget it.
yeah,
That's the times you need to keep push just a little bit more.
I'm big on timing. I think God's time is the only time, you know.
Yeah.
And so we may have a plan, but God's plan is the only plan. And as long as you stay righteous and you stay on the path that you know that He puts you on, and you stay consistent, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen when the time is right.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here with, coming from a little town, like knowing that your parents migrated here, to make and pursue the American dream that all of us are sold on, and then providing for you, and then you yourself coming from the little town and, working on being an athlete. And not only that, but knowing how much your parents put an effort to get you to where you're at and wanting to push it even further. And knowing that your music most likely is all over the place, all over the world, to me, I feel like is definitely something that needs to be highlighted and shown. And just the way you carry yourself as far as like wanting to keep pushing people correctly with it. You definitely are a global Latin factor. So, Octavio, you are a global Latin factor. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember, we're just people. We are humans just like you. And we are here, and we are the spice in this melting pot that is the world. Till next time. You are still here. Thank you. Thank you very much for checking out another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell. Every subscription, every like, every comment helps us a lot, and you are really appreciated for that. Thank you. You are bringing awareness to more Latino content, more Latino people that are doing and fulfilling their dreams, and for that, we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
What is del Avigo? Walks like a pero but in fact is a flamingo. Coming to Havana and reach from Puerto Rico. On a pirate ship, you don't know where do we go. The birds of the jungle chasing fortune and fame, but Juan is flamingo is not walking the same. Balaje de la flauta and banana.